Salut, I'm Jennifer, your French teacher in the south of France. Have you ever been in a situation and you have to choose between using c'est and il est and you're not quite sure which one is right? Well, I'm not surprised because there are some rules that you need to learn, and today we are going to go over 9 rules together. What I want you to do is go to my website. You can follow the link in the description below, and you can download your free copy of the lesson guide. It's going to have everything that we go over together in this lesson, plus a few extra things. Now, it can be tempting to just tell yourself, oh, c'est and il est or elle est, they all mean the same thing. They're interchangeable. Well, they might mean the same thing sometimes, but guess what? They are not interchangeable. Just take a look at this. Cette table te plaît? Cette table te plaît? That means, do you like this table? Now look at the two answers. Oui, elle est jolie. Yes, it's pretty. Oui, c'est une jolie table. Yes, it's a pretty table. See how in one I used elle and in the other I used c'est. Pourquoi? Here is our rule number 1. Is there a determiner word right after être? If there is, then you need to use c'est or ce sont. Now, your question about rule number 1 might be, what's a determiner word? Well, a determiner word is one that gives us more information about the noun that's coming up. What is it going to tell us? It's going to tell us the gender of the noun, because all nouns are either masculine or feminine, and it's going to tell us the number. In other words, it will tell us if the noun is singular or plural. Let's look at some examples of determiner words. There are lots of different kinds of determiner words. I'm just going to show you 5 so that you can get it in your mind what I'm talking about. Let's talk about an apple. Is it a specific apple? If so, I'm going to use a definite article, la pomme. It means the apple. It tells me that pomme is singular and feminine. Is it non-specific? If so, I'm going to go with an indefinite article, une pomme, an apple. Is it part of something? Is it part of an apple? If so, I'm going to go with a partitive article, de la pomme, some apple. Is it possessive? Might be my apple, ma pomme. Is it in front of you? Is it right there? Cette pomme, this apple. Or is it over there? Cette pomme, that apple. All of these words you can see have been chosen because pomme is feminine and singular. So that's what I mean by a determiner word. It determines the gender and the number of the noun. Here are a few examples for you. The first one uses c'est. C'est la banane d'Anne. C'est la banane d'Anne. It's Anne's banana. Why am I using c'est? Well, you see that determiner word, la? That's why I'm using c'est. It's as simple as that. That's rule number 1. In my next example, I'm still talking about the banana. I'm making reference to the banana, right? Elle est jaune. Elle est jaune. It is yellow. Now, elle means it. It doesn't mean she, but the banana is a feminine noun. Is there a determiner word after the verb être? No, there's an adjective. So I don't use c'est, I use elle est. How about this one? C'est une banane jaune. C'est une banane jaune. It's a yellow banana. Why c'est? See the determiner word? Une. That's why. And we still say elle est jaune. It is yellow because there's no determiner word. Jaune is just an adjective. C'est quoi? What's that? C'est de la banane. It's banana. Now, in English, I just said it's banana. But in French, I have to use c'est de la banane because I'm talking about a non specified quantity of banana. This is the partitive article, and it is a determiner word. It tells me that banane is feminine and singular. So I have to go with c'est. Now, if I want to say it's too ripe, elle est trop mûre. I'm making reference to the banana. Elle est trop mûre. Mûre just means ripe. It's an adjective. I can put trop before it if I want to, but I still don't have a determiner word, so I go with elle est. I'm showing you lots of examples to start out with these determiner words because it is the number one rule. But stick with me because remember I told you I have 9 rules to show you. C'est ma banane. That's my banana. If I say c'est ma banane, I have a determiner word. You see the ma. C'est la mienne. It's mine. La is a determiner word. Elle est à moi. Elle est à moi. I don't have a determiner word here. Remember, when you use être followed by a and then a word like moi, this is a way to show possession, and it also means it is mine. So, c'est la mienne means it is mine, and elle est à moi also means it is mine, but my grammatical structure is different. C'est la mienne requires a determiner word, whereas elle est à moi just takes a preposition. All of this is outlined in the lesson guide that you're going to get when you head over to my website. C'est cette banane dont je parlais. It is that banana that I was talking about. You see, cette, that's a determiner word. It just means that or this, but it's feminine and it's singular. Now, I have used a bit of more advanced grammar in the second part of that sentence. And the reason why is because this is not really a lesson strictly for beginners. Can you tell? C'est celle-là. It's that one. C'est celle-là. Celle is a pronoun that means it's that one, and that's a demonstrative pronoun. If you haven't learned demonstrative pronouns, it's no big deal. But celle is a determiner word because it's written in the feminine singular way. So I have to use celle. Now, if I want to say it's on the ground, I'm talking about the banana still. Elle est par terre. Elle est par terre. You see, par is a preposition. There is no determiner word there, so I go with elle. Okay, are you ready for another rule? Here it is. Rule number 2. Is there an adjective referring to a specific noun right after the verb être? If so, then use il est, elle est, ils sont, or elles sont. I just have a few examples to show you for this rule number 2 because it's pretty straightforward. Les montagnes couvertes de neige sont belles. Les montagnes couvertes de neige sont belles. The snow-covered mountains are beautiful. You see that adjective belle, which is very clearly, specifically referring to the mountains, the snow-covered mountains. Well, if I want to say elles sont belles, I have to go with elles sont rather than ce sont because I am talking specifically about les montagnes. All right, so I can't call them ce, I have to call them elles because they are feminine and plural. Ces règles sont utiles. Ces règles sont utiles. These rules are useful. So I want to say they are useful. I am using the word useful to refer directly to these rules, which are feminine and plural. So I say elles sont utiles. Cette pizza est délicieuse. Cette pizza est délicieuse. This pizza is delicious. I'm talking about a specific pizza. This pizza, right? So I don't want to say c'est, I want to use elle est. Elle est délicieuse. It is delicious. Now, when I'm using elle est délicieuse, I need to remember to keep my adjective feminine and singular because my noun is feminine and singular. Rule number 3. Is there an adjective referring to a general idea right after être? If so, we're going to go with c'est or ce sont. Just a little word about the general statement using c'est. Listen, c'est can be used before a standalone statement. What I mean by that is it's going to include an adjective that describes the general sense of something, like a situation, could be an opinion, it could even be a feeling. Now, this is really important. If we're using c'est this way, like a standalone statement with a general opinion about something, the adjective will always be in the masculine and singular form. Here's an example for you. Le poulet, c'est bon. Chicken is good. Oui, c'est bon. Yeah, it's good. I'm not talking about the chicken that was just served to me, that's on the plate. I'm talking about chicken in general. Tu aimes le poulet? Oui, c'est bon. Do you like chicken? Yeah, it's good. It's a general statement, a standalone statement about the chicken. Now, in this case, le poulet is masculine and singular. So you might think, okay, I'll use bon. Well, even if I were talking about something else like la ratatouille, la ratatouille is feminine. La ratatouille, c'est bon. Ratatouille is good. Ah oui, c'est bon. Yeah, it's good. Remember, I'm still going to use the masculine singular form of the adjective when I'm using c'est like this in a standalone statement about something very general. Now, I can also use c'est with adjectives when I'm just making like an exclamation. On a gagné, we won, c'est génial, it's amazing. Oui, c'est super, c'est génial. And I just keep the adjective in the masculine singular form. Here is rule number 4. Are you defining someone by his or her profession? If you are, then you need to go with il est or elle est. Now, here's a rule for you in case you didn't know, and a reminder for you in case you did. The indefinite articles un and une are not required, are not used when defining a person by his or her profession. Here are a few examples. Il est professeur. He is a teacher. I am defining him by his profession. Elle est médecin. She is a doctor. I'm defining her by her profession. I do not need to put un before the profession. Here is rule number 5. Now, we're still talking about professions, but rather than defining someone by their profession, are you simply stating that someone is a teacher or a doctor? And if so, we're going to use c'est because there's going to be a determiner word. Let me show you what I mean. Now, I'm repeating myself because this is very important. In this case, we are simply stating the person's profession and we are not defining him or her as such. In this case, I will use c'est because you see the determiner word that's there. C'est un professeur. He is a teacher. C'est un médecin. She is a doctor, or that might mean he is a doctor. So, what's the difference in saying he's a teacher and he's a teacher? Il est professeur and c'est un professeur. What's the difference? Listen, if I'm saying c'est un professeur, I'm not defining him by his profession. This might be in a situation where I say he's a teacher at my daughter's school, or she is a doctor at the hospital in town. You can definitely add adjectives to say how a person performs his or her profession. For example, I can say, c'est un bon professeur. He's a good teacher. You see that determiner word right there? That's why I'm using c'est. Or, c'est un mauvais médecin. She's a bad doctor. Or remember, that could mean he is a bad doctor. See the word un, that's my determiner word. And so something important to just say at this point before I get to my next rule is that we can use c'est to refer to people. Don't worry, you're not calling the person an it. That's not how it works in French. Rule number 6. Are you telling time? If so, then use il est, always. So let's go through telling time just real quickly. For all of these, for 1 o'clock through 11 o'clock, I am talking about AM. Il est 1 heure. Il est 2 heures. Il est 3 heures. Il est 4 heures. Il est 5 heures. Il est 6 heures. Il est 7 heures. Il est 8 heures. Il est 9 heures. Il est 10 heures. Il est 11 heures. Now that's still 11 a.m., but then I'm moving into p.m. and let's see what happens. Il est midi. That means it is noon. Il est 13 heures. That means it's 1 p.m. Il est 14 heures. Il est 15 heures. Il est 16 heures. Il est 17 heures. Il est 18 heures. Il est 19 heures. Il est 20 heures. Il est 21 heures. Il est 22 heures. Il est 23 heures. Il est minuit. It's now midnight. Rule number 7, there are only 9, we're getting closer to the end, is être followed by a proper noun? If so, then use c'est. So yes, all proper nouns use c'est, even if the noun is a person. A proper noun, the name of a person, place, or a thing, use c'est. C'est Madame Laurent. C'est la Tour Eiffel. C'est un croissant. Rule number 8. We're going to use c'est with disjunctive pronouns. Now, what are disjunctive pronouns? I'm going to show you the disjunctive pronouns, and you will see that they refer to people, but it's still okay. We're going to use c'est with them. This is what I mean by disjunctive pronouns. C'est moi, it's me. C'est toi, it's you. C'est lui, it's him. C'est elle, it's her. C'est nous, it's us. C'est vous, it's you. Ce sont eux, it's them. Ce sont elles, it's them. Now with c'est nous, I know that nous is more than one person, but we still use the singular form c'est and not ce sont. And the same will be true with c'est vous, even if vous is plural. That's just the way that it is. But with eux, which means them, it's masculine or mixed group, or with elles, which means them, an all feminine group, we do go with the plural form of the verb ce sont. Guess what? This is our last rule. Rule number 9. Are you referring to a specific date? If you are, use c'est. For example, mon anniversaire, my birthday, c'est le 4 mars. It's March 4th. Specific date, use c'est. Noël, Christmas, c'est le 25 décembre. It's December 25th. Specific date. La date du déménagement, the moving date, c'est demain. It's tomorrow. Now, here's something you just need to know. Don't use c'est when you're telling today's date. We're not going to use c'est or il est for today's date. So, how do we do it? Well, if you want to ask what's the date today, what is today's date, we say quelle est la date aujourd'hui? Quelle est la date aujourd'hui? And to answer it, aujourd'hui, nous sommes le 18 avril. Aujourd'hui, nous sommes le 18 avril. So you can see that we still are using the verb être, but we're not using c'est or il est. We're using the subject pronoun nous. Nous sommes, we are April 18th. Or I could have gone with the subject pronoun on est le 18 avril. So here is a recap of those 9 rules. If you want them all in writing, be sure to go and download your free lesson guide on my website. Just follow the link in the description below.